something I can see turning out of that black hole, two luminous discs. The eyes, it might be a face, might be almost but heavens, something wriggling out of the shadow like a gray snake. Now it's another one, and another one, and another one. They look like tentacles to me. Oh, yeah, I can see the thing's body now. It's large as a bear. It glistens like wet leather, but that face, ladies and gentlemen, it's indescribable. I can hardly force myself to keep looking at it. It's so awful. The eyes are black, and they gleam like a serpent. The mouth is a kind of V-shape with saliva dripping from its rimless lips and seem to quiver and pulsate.
Face to face. Alister is face to face with a stranger's reflection. It's mirroring your exact movements for now, but while your expression is one of bewilderment, there's something far more sinister radiating off of the glassy surface of the backroom mirror of the Lakeside Dive bar. Its expression is hard to pin down. For the longer you stare at it, the more its face begins to shift. Individual features give way into others, eyes change colors, lips curl and flatten. Its face is never the same. You gaze into the mirror. The stranger's reflection is what gazes back out, and it looks at you expectantly. When we last left our players, the two of you had walked upstairs into the back room of the Lakeside Bar and Grill, and after a conversation with Macy, decided it was in your best interest to pull the sheet covering the possessed mirror off of the possessed mirror. And just greet your adversary face to face. You have done so now. This is the first time that Alister has seen this entity, but it is not the first time that Saint has seen this entity.
That is true.
I'm always out here seeing entities.
Quite literally, it's in your backstory.
Yeah, that is true.
Well,
that is just a fact.
You said that flippantly. You quite literally are always seeing something.
Yeah, that makes me sound like I'm the kid from Sixth Sense, and I do want to make it clear I'm seeking out the entities, and they just happen to be there. It's not like I'm walking around being like, oh, there's Dave who died last week.
No, you're always seeing entities, and that you're like you have a lot of appointments.
Yeah, exactly.
With entities. You're
or the entities have appointments with me.
Someone else is. It's like sort of like they got a referral. Like an involuntary referral, I guess, because someone reported them.
Yeah, I'm the fireman of ghosts.
You're like an interventionist.
Yeah.
How are your de-escalation skills, Saint? They're good, actually.
I was gonna say
they're very good.
You know,
I have seen them firsthand, and they're very.
I'm the
good.
hostage negotiator of demons, and I'm very good at my job.
Well, hopefully there won't be any hostage hopefully whatever we do next isn't going to create any hostage situations you need to negotiate.
Hopefully none of us get possessed. Okay, let's move on.
Okay, I have a couple of questions about what exactly it is that Alister is seeing in this mirror. So, if I look closely, what's changing about it? Is it just the face? Is it the body proportions, the clothes, any other features?
Face and body proportions for sure. Its clothes stay the same.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
It's like it's only the self that's changing. And clothes are not the self.
What? I suppose that is true. Okay. So it's... And it has, like, the expected human configuration of facial features that are just swapping, like, character creator options rather than, like, blurring or, like, moving around like a cubist painting.
There's moments of blur as its facial features change, but yes, you can think of it as pressing randomize on a character creator over and over and over again.
I think I was imagining it as more of a Picasso painting situation initially. So that is, thank you. Okay.
Of course.
And then what kind of clothes is it wearing? Is it like dressed in a contemporary fashion or historical or?
No, it is in fact wearing a black tall coat, this kind of white angular high collar, a thin yellow tie, a waistcoat, and a top hat, and some pressed trousers. This is a decidedly antiquated way of dress, not one from this century.
Yeah. Okay, so Alistair doesn't have my interest in the history of fashion, but I if I had to guess, he's probably seen, like, you know, real old ass, like, sepia toned fucking photographs of his ancestors dressed like that, probably doing crimes against the working class, you know, like abusing the Irish or something.
Roosevelt ass family.
Yeah, it's a little bit Carnegie shit or whatever. Okay, so this is definitely like 19th century, but with parenthetical with money.
Absolutely, and Carnegie is a good comparison since you mentioned it.
Okay, cool.
Who are the big three? Who are the big three who sucked? Carnegie, J.P. Morgan, and
who's the other guy?
Rockefeller.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, and so when you said that it's mimicking my movements, if Alistair like raises a hand and kind of tries to move it in unpredictable pattern, is it mimicking as precisely as a reflection really would, or is there the kind of delay that makes it seem like it is a separate entity that is mirroring me rather than something that is actually like just a pure reflection of my movements?
It's a pure reflection of your movements. There's no delay. It's doing things as you're doing them.
Okay. So even if it is a separate entity, it is still, to some extent, maybe bound by the conventions of reflection. Interesting. Okay. And then when I kind of take a sidestep and position myself so that I can see the reflection of the candle in the mirror, is the reflection of the candle still the same like it was the first time we were here?
It absolutely is. The light of the candle is visible on both sides.
Okay. I want to just talk through what it is we know. And so Alistair, without taking his eyes off of the somewhat unsettling shifting features in the mirror, I'm not looking away from this thing if I can help it, but definitely talking to Saint rather than the mirror.
Okay.
So, okay. He says, well, we know that the original binding was to keep something contained rather than to keep it out or away from the town.
Right.
The journal said that the lake was never the same after the ritual was first conducted. All of the fish died, possibly indicating that some kind of sacrifice was required, or there was some kind of price to be paid in order to cement the binding.
Or even that once it got stuck in the lake, its power, or whatever it was, just killed everything there.
Good point. We don't know,
or whatever.
We don't know if the fish were a sacrifice or collateral damage.
Right.
Up to this point, we have only encountered the stranger in reflective surfaces.
Mm-hmm.
The mirror, pointing to the mirror, and the lake.
Mm-hmm.
That indicates to me that it is possible that the stranger can only appear when it has a reflection to piggyback on.
Mm-hmm.
Can you think of any way that we would be able to test whether or not it can appear independently? The issue with the mirror, of course, being that if you are looking into the mirror, putting a pin in that.
To clarify, you're wondering if there's some way we can get it to manifest outside of a reflective surface?
I'm curious as to whether it can manifest in a reflective surface without first having a human figure appear in that reflective surface for it to mimic.
I mean, there are probably places where we can leave the mirror, like, in here, get out of the way, and then, like, still be able to see the mirror. Or we can maybe set up, like, one of our phones, so it's taking a video.
Both good ideas. Final thought.
Yep.
Is it possible that when the stranger was bound to the town, it was either bound in some manner to its own reflection, or bound exclusively as a reflection, and only able to interact with the world as a mirror?
I mean, that seems possible. That seems like what happened, if I had to guess, that they bound it in a way that it was in a reflective cage. You know, I thought initially that it was just the lake, that it was inside the lake, but it seems like that's not the case. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's the idea is that it has to be anything reflective, and that is reflective of the fact that it is no longer its full self, or if it's just, you know, there's an idea sometimes that there's a world beyond our own inside a mirror, and maybe that's the kind of side that it's stuck on. I can't really tell, which they did without, you know, any kind of documentation or talking to somebody who did it, and obviously all of that's been lost to time.
Is that something that you have encountered before? The concept of the Lewis Carroll's through the looking glass phenomenon?
Not personally. I've heard of it. I've talked with other people about it in a theoretical sense. And I you know, I knew a guy who had done that, but I haven't actually seen it. So I can't corroborate it personally.
Alistair kind of shakes his head once as a like, nope, back to the task at hand.
Yeah, we can
get too many fucking questions.
If you want to get scientific later, you know, I've got all my journals. You can flip through them to your heart's content if you want, but
that does make Alistair turn away from the mirror to look at Saint.
And that's when it reaches out and grabs him.
Fuck!
Sorry, please continue.
Reach out and touch Saint.
God damn it. No, I don't know that he actually says anything about it. But that does, like, make him stop short and look over at Saint to try to gauge whether that offer is genuine.
He doesn't look like he is. Like, he looks like he did earlier.
It doesn't seem like the kind of thing he would joke about.
Yeah, no.
Okay.
It doesn't look like he's cracking wise, or he's, like, pulling a face about it, like he's like, ugh. You know, that seems genuine.
Okay. Awesome.
Now, if you asked if he was going to turn those over to the cops, the answer would be no, but he has offered to let you look through them.
Okay. Noted for later.
I appreciate you bringing up the Lewis Carroll through the looking glass angle, but it does just kind of... Saint, be upfront with me. Has a caterpillar ever offered you drugs?
Well, I'll never tell.
Look, Alistair's like, I've been offered drugs by a dude dressed as a caterpillar multiple times. So,
we were just at the fucking UFO festival. We probably got offered drugs there by a guy dressed like a caterpillar.
Yeah, it happened between episodes.
Yeah.
Who are you?
We were like looking at him
So
like, okay, I know it's kind of cold out here, but you're wearing...
People tried to buy weed.
Yeah.
I mean, shrooms.
Gotta be fun at the Roswell Mutual Information Exchange to be the person who accidentally sells drugs to a federal agent.
I think there's an unofficial betting pool amongst the less uptight members of the department on, like, who can get the silliest drugs from the various people purveying drugs. It's gotta be, like, unique or weird. It's not the contest is not like the hardest drugs. It's the goofiest drugs.
I'm getting edibles made out of crystallized sugar that are shaped like flowers.
Oh,
and they're so
like
ineffective, they don't do anything.
Someone's managed to, like, replace the sugar on the outside of Peeps with acid or something like that.
Yeah.
I was the grossest thing I could
poppers,
think of on
but they
short
look
notice.
like
I
M&Ms.
fucking hate... I fucking hate Peeps.
Hey, does anyone have the DEA's number? This one seems new. We should let them know about this one, right?
Hey man, I don't know about this one.
What? No, I'm not a narc.
Hey, we deal with ghosts. We don't deal with drugs. That's somebody else's problem.
It's the new street drug all the kids are doing. It's called alien abduction.
I was gonna say it's called Peeps, but worse.
Oh man, yeah, we made Peeps
Shitty
even
Peeps.
more unpleasant.
Yeah.
The kids are doing something new called All Saints.
that one will catch on.
Email me at sleepwhilethemoovies@gmail.com if you're writing All Saints. Okay. Anyway.
Okay. So, having ascertained that this is a genuine offer from Saint and tucked that away in his mental, I don't know, wallet for later as an IOU, Alistair is just says, okay, this raises two questions. Is magic, used as a catch-all term here, a matter of predetermined inputs? One acquires a set of ingredients and recites some litany which someone else has written down, and this will always produce fire or a fruit basket? Or is it usually more a matter of an expression of will which can take a form which is either unique to the one expressing it or feels appropriate to the situation at hand? Question one. Second question. When a person wishes to, and you can tell it's like he really hates having to say do magic, but he can't come up with a better word for it.
Rituals.
If a person was to perform a ritual, is it a matter of, no, how much control does that person usually have over the manner in which the desired result will come about? Is it often a predetermined result, or is it like a trickster story? So you say perhaps the residents of this town simply said, was their logic, we are going to trap the stranger in the lake, or was the logic, we simply cannot allow the stranger to escape and terrorize some other neighboring town, it must stay here, and the manner in which that came about was to trap it in the lake, possibly at the cost of the lake's productivity?
Well, first of all, I think it could have been either. And on a side note to that, it seems like actually what they wanted to do is they were paying a price and the price became too high and they wanted it to stop. It was not that they were trying to make a self-sacrifice to stop the stranger from hurting other people. It's that they got tired of the deal they had made and it was asking for too much. And so to stop the deal, they had to shut it down. Now, the answer is it depends, right? When you're coding, from how I understand it, you can enter an input and you think you're doing everything right, and even if you enter everything incorrectly, you could still get a different result from what you expect, right? So if you could have the correct intention and follow what you think is all the correct results, but even then you may not get what you mean to have, and it's the same thing with any kind of ritual, right? So these people may have thought, we want to trap it in the lake, and we're gonna do this, and they still could have had a side effect they didn't intend because they didn't see it coming. You know, there was a bit to it they didn't think to plan for. The answer is just kind of a little bit of A, a little bit of B in your initial question. I was gonna say there aren't books in this. There are, but they're mostly bullshit, right? You know, there's no wizard academy you could go to. I'm not referencing Harry Potter. I'm thinking about Dungeons and Dragons. That you could go to like learn how to do this. Most people are just making up what they think should work. And then, you know, sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, and they've got all the tools they think will do what they're supposed to do, and, you know, sometimes it does what they want it to do because they have the right intention and they've happened to put the pieces together right. Sometimes it doesn't because they put pieces together wrong, or their intention wasn't right, or the weather was bad that day. You know, there isn't really a set rules for this kind of thing. It's kind of a science, but also it's kind of not. I don't know what they were trying to do here, honestly. It's hard to tell if they did everything exactly they meant to. This is what I was saying earlier. You know, we don't know if they did everything exactly the way they meant to, because we have no record of what exactly they were trying to do or what the ritual was. All we know is what we have left. What the result is, we've got something that appears in reflective surfaces, including the lake. We assume that its cage is the lake, but we don't know that for sure. And we know that the candles are the bars keeping it in. And that's it.
Alistair is kind of nodding along as Saint is saying all of this. So your proposal to recreate the ritual in some way does not require a precise recreation of the process from the initial binding.
My plan is to do my best. Get as close as what I can estimate to do. I'm just going to try and recreate the ritual based on what I think they did. Because the closer I can get to what I think they did, the better it's going to go. Even if my intent is to do the exact same thing, I don't know if it's going to work if I go completely off script. If I can't recreate the ritual, then I'm going to have to go completely off script and do what I do and hope it gets the same effect.
And what is your confidence level that you would succeed if it came to that?
Does that matter? I'm going to do it.
Of course.
It does not matter what. I will make this happen. And I will not let it hurt anybody in this town.
That's both me and Alistair taking a moment to digest.
Sure.
What exactly that means for what Saint might decide to do.
Yeah.
Goodness. Well, let's see if we can first attempt to work within the experimental framework we already have.
Sure. For my own personal reference, is the plan still to talk to the thing in the mirror? Or
yes. Yeah, okay. That's gonna be my next.
Okay. Cool.
I'd like to see if the same trick that allowed you to communicate with what may or may not have been Philip works when it's taken the mask off. And I will lean forward and exhale onto the mirror and give this thing a chance to talk back. Because that's definitely a great idea, not fraught with any kind of danger. Does it respond in any way to me frosting up the mirror? Fogging up the mirror. And I'm not I don't have ice breath powers yet.
As you lean into it to try to fog up the mirror, you notice that it is doing the exact same gesture from the opposite side. So for a brief moment, the two of yours faces get very, very close to each other. There's no additional insight you gain from this, because its face is never the same for very long. For a brief moment, however, you get a glimpse of recognition. You've seen those eyes before, and then it's gone. There's fog on the surface of the mirror, but the entity on the other side doesn't take any additional actions that you're not taking.
Damn. Whose eyes?
Just seems like somebody you may recognize from the bar.
Cool. Cool. Did I catch what color they were? Just so I can make a mental note.
Sure. Great.
Okay. Interesting.
You didn't get a super lengthy look at everyone's faces the previous night, but I'll say that it's just enough that you're just like, wait, hold on, what's that? No.
Somebody with distinctly green eyes can often be memorable just because that's not particularly common.
Just a glimpse of familiarity was all.
Okay. I'm gonna keep that in my back pocket and see if I have to go interrogate any green-eyed people. Okay, so it's not doing anything. Yeah, I'm gonna breathe on it again and use my finger to write hello. And then, frost over it again. I'll leave you know what I'll do is I'll write hello and I will leave my finger hovering over the condensation in case it has to have the sort of permission of my hand reflected there.
All you've written is hello. As those letters that you carved out of the fog begin to fade, you feel a slight amount, barely noticeable amount, in your own hand, of movement. Much like the phenomenon that people describe when they're using a Ouija board. This kind of gentle, automatic push as your muscles contract and move. It's not conscious movement.
I do my best to kind of loosen my wrist and let it tug.
Backwards this time. Hello, right back at you, with your own hand.
That's disconcerting. Oh, looking over it, saying, it has some capacity to suggest through the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
Unclear whether it's only able to mimic. Is the handwriting the same?
Yeah, it's your handwriting.
Okay, so it was moving my hand, but it is the same way that I had moved, identical to the way that I had just written it.
Absolutely.
Well, that's helpful.
Alistair's kind of thinking through, and this is a thought that I had earlier, was that it is possible that it simply has access to the likeness of anyone who has ever been reflected in one of the surfaces in the town.
Mm-hmm.
That if it is, and I'll you know what, I'll say that in character, thinking about it. He thinks about it for a second. And he can't think of who that might be off the top of his head either. But we also haven't determined whether it is bound to certain reflective surfaces or any reflective surface within a specific area. And if it has so many features to shuffle through, it's possible that it's simply an amalgamation of anyone who's had their reflection, say, captured within its area of control, or all of the reflections it can inhabit. If it can be any reflection, then perhaps it simply can be anyone who's being reflected.
Or at least look like them.
At least look like them.
We've seen nothing to indicate so far that it's leaving.
True.
It's not... I don't think it's taking the form of somebody here. I don't think it's stuck. It's acting a little bit out of form, but I think it's still... This is not to say that once it escapes, it can't start doing that. But I think right now it's still stuck. The only time that will be an issue is if it gets loose. And right now it's not.
True. Well, loose enough to nearly drag you out of a boat.
Yeah, but I reached in first. I penetrated the barrier.
This mirror isn't old enough to be... It was clearly manufactured after whatever binding ritual took place. So it's not a matter of... I mean, we said it was old, but it's not like that old, right?
Who said?
Oh, that's fucking true. Fair. Shit. I've made an assumption here. I don't think Alistair... You know what? Alistair does know a thing or two about antique furniture.
That's right, he does!
Yes! I have established that a long time ago, that Alistair, has probably, an aunt or something who is... there's someone in his family is probably, a high-end antique furniture dealer, or is married to a high-end antique furniture dealer. It seems like the kind of thing he would be related to. I know how New England works. That's a good question. How old do I think this mirror is?
Probably at least 100 years old.
That is a fascinating question.
It is a very old, cracked, and perhaps even warped in places, carved and covered in gold leaf, wooden frame.
So it is entirely possible that this mirror was already in the town. And how old do we estimate the bar building to be?
Earlier, Alice said the bar's been around for forever, but it's definitely not from the same time period. It is definitely built post the beginning of the 19th century. It would not have the... It is not an older building that has been electrically retrofitted or anything.
Sure. Okay.
You could probably safely assume it's from the 50s onward.
You're like, this thing has too many outlets to be that old.
That explains all the gas. Whatever.
We're being it's gaslight time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Season 1, episode 2.
Well, I retract my earlier statement.
Sure. But yeah, no, the bar certainly looks, again, hardly modern, but maybe 50s, 60s, somewhere around there.
We haven't seen... I wonder if the reason we haven't seen the stranger in other mirrors is because this is the only one we've encountered that is old enough. I wish, like, the problem with this being an audio medium is that it's like, hey, Ezra, are you just talking to nothing, or is Alistair talking to Saint? And it's like, Alistair's definitely talking to Saint.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible.
Okay. Saint's getting twitchy. I gotta move this along.
Both I and Saint are getting to the point where, like, I don't know how relevant this is to like wrapping this up. And it could be that absolutely is. He's just like, I feel like we're wasting time. And this is not me trying to move you along, and I'm not going to externalize this. But if you're looking at him, he's just kind of like sitting next to the candle, like stone-faced.
I think Alistair can tell a little bit of impatience coming off of Saint. He's pretty good at reading people.
Yeah.
Okay. He and I will endeavor not to go down a rabbit hole then. Before Alistair has a chance to second guess whether or not this is even relevant, he leans forward, breathes on the mirror again, and scratches out, "Did you kill Philip Creek?" And I will likewise leave my finger on the surface of the glass.
You're face to face with the stranger again when you notice him start to laugh, notably breaking the reflection with you. He rears his head back, and it's this clear, deep laugh that just feels powerful regardless of the size of the entity you see on the other side.
Oof.
For a brief moment, maybe it's a hallucination, but it almost seems like the surface of the glass, of the mirror itself, warps a little bit with the vibration of the laugh on the other side.
Ooh.
You feel something resonate from the other side, even if you can't hear anything. When it stops laughing, it locks eyes with you again, and your hand moves. Plain and simple, in the fogged up space. O-N.
Okay.
It's a mirror, so no, obviously.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
it's
no,
just
no,
wanted to
no.
make it clear you didn't think
I absolutely no. No, I definitely understood. That is not the answer that Alistair was expecting.
Mm-hmm.
He's also quite taken aback by the indication that he's like trying to figure out if the idea of the mirror warping along with the vibrations of the laughter was like his eyes playing tricks on him or not.
Of course. Reasonable to assume.
I look over at Saint. How trustworthy do we think this thing is or isn't? Because I really want to ask it. I really want to follow up with who did.
Go for it.
Okay. I will lean in again and mark out who did and wait and let the suggestion take over.
Your hand begins to drift again after you've loosened your wrist. 4 distinct letters. YCAM.
I mean, that's not true.
Yeah. She certainly drove him to a point where it's entirely possible that he was desperate enough to do something dumb, or by blowing out the candle, she left him vulnerable.
Like, I know we've said, like, no, Macy, like, it wasn't really your fault, but it wasn't, like, not her fault. So, like, that's not, like, new info. If he was trying to shock us with that one, I'm like, I mean, okay.
Yeah,
Sure.
Alistair takes a moment to think through the implications of that, and then just
I don't think she
smiles.
broke something in his boat so that he crashed.
No, I don't think so either. I don't think she sabotaged him intentionally.
Did we ever find out who, like, reported his death?
You did not?
No, we didn't. We don't know if he was reported missing or if someone, like, found the
boat.
Did they find a body?
We never found that either.
Because we were like, we didn't go talk to the cops.
Either way, I don't think this thing's going off scot-free, and I think the answer of Macy's like, we already kind of figured that was a possibility. And even if she did manage to, like, break the boat to get him killed, like, that's a separate problem. I still think that we have to solve the demon problem. Also, they did find the boat. It was decimated. Like, they did drag the lake, and get that thing out. So, presumably they also found his body. We can follow up with the cops later. Yeah.
That, the way that you just...
Kiss, kiss, bang, bang, yes.
Yep.
It was,
I was like...
It was on purpose, don't
was
worry.
When they dragged
the lake. My mother gave me as a gift. Yeah. No, anyway. It was on purpose, I promise.
Thank you.
So we could do the murder investigation later. But that's not really our problem. But we could do the cop work later.
Yeah, I think that's kind of... I was getting pretty caught up in the murder mystery element of this. And solving the murder mystery is not necessarily the same as solving the problem that the town is having.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. I think if we want to stop... I don't think we have a serial killer on the loose. Like, I think that if Macy did kill Philip, it was to stop... It was because of the beef with the document, right, about selling the bar. I don't think she's gonna go start murking other people. And also, she seems to feel pretty shitty. So, like, once again, I don't think she's gonna start killing more people. She seems... This seems like... I mean, she could be a very, very good liar. This could be an American Psycho situation. But I haven't seen that movie. I could be totally wrong about it. But, I think that the murder mystery part is fine for now. We don't have to worry about, like, a Hannibal Lecter problem. But we do have to worry about, like, the demon in the lake. That is urgent.
That is... Okay. Thank you for...
I have 2 thumbs up right now to indicate, like, we're good with murder. We are, however, putting my thumbs down, not good with Lake Demon.
Okay. So...
Once again, to make horror movie jokes, less Silence of the Lambs, more The Exorcist.
Yeah. Alistair takes a second to take that in, and thinking about Macy's reaction to all of this, and thinking about how likely it is that even if she did have something to do with the death of Philip Creek more than she's letting on, that's not really the point. If blowing out the candle left him vulnerable, I suppose, sure, from a certain point of view, maybe she did kill him. But this thing is gonna have to try harder than that. To really...
Yeah, GG telling us something that we already sort of knew.
Sidetrack us. And he just thinks about it for a second and smiles at the ever-changing reflection of the stranger with that face that says, sure, tell me something I don't know.
Get her ass.
And Alistair looks over at Saint.
Yeah.
What do I want to do? Do you have any questions or...
None.
Are we moving on to the experimentation phase?
I don't think I've got anything it's gonna want to answer.
Yeah, I could be here all night letting this thing fuck around with me. And I know, Matty, the other thing you had, we sort of wrote down are like the next things we might want to try. And Saint's thought was to blow out the candle, bleed on it, and try to relight it as a way to try to tell whether or not that, like, that part of it was salvageable. Because if we know we can relight it, that would let us go relight the one that is blown out at the Creek house. I just had a thought about mirrors.
Mm-hmm.
And that fucky thing where you have, like, mirrors reflecting mirrors. And I'm like... I just had this moment of like, I wonder what would happen if we put like this, if we like got mirrors that it like was in and set them up in like the configuration for like a dressing room where it's like you're getting like multiple angles. And I'm like, I wonder if that would like let it like manifest enough that we could kill it.
Just make it.
That's a totally separate idea. I just thought it would be cool. That was just a thing that I thought would be cool if that would like allow it to have some corporeal form that we could like, you know. I guess I have supernatural brain right now.
Well, I'm on the supernatural Reddit right now, if that helps.
Oh God, okay.
I'm looking something up. It's relevant.
I was gonna say, like, I was not even questioning that. I was just like, I just had a moment of, wow, I wonder how cursed a place the supernatural Reddit is.
Well, right now, they're actually complaining about the fact that they always cut the palm of their hand for blood stuff, and I was like, I agree. I'm trying to figure out what's a better place to, like, cut on yourself if you need to, like, pull blood. And I know I've, like, read about this. Yes, I was like, your forearm, but, like... Anyway, we'll get into this in a second.
Yeah. No, like the top of your forearm. Or like your...
The inside is like, there's too many delicate veins there. And also I don't want to invoke anything like self-harm-y just for safety reasons. And so... Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You got a lot of tendons in there. You don't want to fuck around with your tendons.
Exactly. And
they fuck themselves.
I was like, you
enough.
could do your thumb, but I'm like, you use your thumb for so much that I don't want to do that. Anyway, that's why I was on the Supernatural Reddit. The point is, I forget where we were going because I was so frantically defending myself.
So
manifesting it. The idea is trying to manifest it.
I just now had the mental image of putting enough mirrors or reflective surfaces that in which the stranger can appear together into a configuration that would like allow it to like be like, I just was like imagining putting a whole bunch of them together and getting like a hologram style thing in the middle. I don't know if this would really happen or not. I just thought it seemed cool.
I agree that it is cool. I don't know that it's want useful to manifest it.
No, that is true. We probably don't, because we don't have a good way to like. It's not like we like know how to kill it, and we need to know how to get to it.
Right. I think that we should just.
That's a separate problem.
Yeah, I think at this point we need to work on figuring a way to reestablish the ritual. And then once it's set up, if the people want help establishing a better ritual to keep it locked down further, I think we could go from there. I don't think anybody is equipped to start killing whatever this is yet, especially because we don't know what it is.
Yeah, that is
I think
true.
We're on a little bit of a time crunch here.
God, I really just want to ask it where it came from, but then that makes me do
and where it's going. Cotton Eye Joe.
Yeah.
Stupid.
So the entity in the mirror wrote. I asked, who did, as in who killed Philip Creek, and it said Macy, And Alistair kind of took a second to run through everything we know about the relationship that Macy had with Philip, the tensions that we know were there, the situation, and then just smiled at the mirror with an attitude of, yeah, tell me something I don't know.
There we go.
Because even if she did have something to do with it, or it was as simple as blowing out the candle weakened the protection somehow and left him vulnerable, this thing still had a hand in it. And asking it questions is just... it's not really gonna get us anywhere, I don't think. I don't have the time to try to beat the devil at its own word games.
Mm-hmm.
And this is not the venue for it. So, I guess the question is now just, do we see if we can blow up the candle and relight it? Is that our next strategy?
I think so, unless you have something else you'd like to try.
I can't come up with anything else, and I feel like I'm missing something obvious, but I don't... maybe I'm not.
I don't think you are.
Okay.
I
was about to be like, Ben, are we missing something obvious? I'd like to phone a friend, and it's my DM. Hey, are we missing something obvious?
Alistair will look over at Saint, and I'm sure he would love nothing more than the opportunity to try to renegotiate this arrangement. I don't think that will end the way we want it to.
I agree.
Well,
you ready to go off the rails?
After you.
Okay. I have my own knife, so just gonna whip that out. And addressed in files form, I'm actually gonna prick my pinky instead of doing a big old across the top of my forearm.
That's smart. I doubt we need that much blood.
I don't think so, and that's something that's like a wound we're gonna have to deal with, whereas the pinky is like, that should be fine. And everyone's left the building, right? Macy has left.
She's downstairs. I don't think she left.
I thought we told everybody to, like, clear the building.
Oh, I don't recall. I can't refute that, so sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we were like, we don't want to try to do this while there's
people in here. So, yeah, everyone has vanished. And I... Actually, can you cover up that mirror again?
Sure. Yeah, I will, I can do that.
Okay. I also put my lighter out for easy access. I blow out the candle. Unless something immediately goes wrong, I have other steps in mind, but I will leave it open for stuff to immediately start going wrong, if you have stuff you'd like to say.
The candle extinguishes with a pop, like a vacuum collapsing. The air around you grows deathly still. You can feel the mirror burning a hole in the back of your neck as you are faced away from it. And underneath the cloth covering that mirror surface, you can hear a rhythmic pounding, like a fist mashed up against glass.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, fuck off.
The demon fucks off.
Yeah! Damn, it was that easy!
Chapter 7 next week. Later, gamers.
I cast fuck off!
I cast fuck off. It's a 5th level spell. Okay. And I will prick my pinky with the knife and squeeze out some blood onto the wick of the candle. And once I do that, I will attempt to light the candle again.
You drop just a little bit of blood into the pooling black wax at the top of the candle. The two materials merge, and as they do, the heat of the candle wax causes your blood to kind of sizzle and pop. It's an uncomfortable smell, burning blood.
Not the first time I've smelled it.
Sure. A chemical reaction has occurred. You said you're lighting it?
Yes.
As you reach to grab your lighter and flick the switch on the back, bringing the flame closer to the wax starts to unmelt, like the candle is reassembling itself in reverse.
There we go.
A fresh candle awaits your flame, and the wick is eager to be burned.
And I do so.
The candle is relit, and the knocking stops.
The flame is similar to before, that kind of heatless, can pass my hand through it and feel nothing.
The heatless flame, and the wax begins to melt again.
There we go. Alright, you little fucker. It's time to close the door.
Alistair, doesn't slump, but is there's a definitive, he's always wound really tight, and it just relaxes like a teeny bit.
Yeah.
That was pretty, I don't know. That was a hell of a risk.
Yeah, well.
So.
Welcome to the business. Saint is focused mode. I will stand up from where I'm crouched, and pound a fist against the mirror. I'm coming for you, bitch. Let's fucking go.
Well, shit, I will follow... I guess I'll follow Saint wherever it is that he's going. I really want to take one more look under the...
Do it!
And look back in the mirror.
Sure.
To see what happens.
I'm heading for the door, but you can do what thou willst.
Yeah.
That is the whole of the law.
As Saint is headed for the door, Alistair can't resist pulling aside the blanket one last time just to see if anything has changed.
You reach up and, with a moment of hesitation, try to pull down the cloth covering the mirror again. You come face to face with your own reflection, Alistair, until it isn't your reflection at all, but that of a stranger. We'll see you next time.
Cool.
What you've been listening to was ParaScience, a glimpse into a world unknown. It is an actual play horror adventure told to you through the Fate system. Our players are Ezra Kaye as Man in Black Alister McAndrews, and Matty Trumbo-Gomes as capable young man St. Garcia Flores. As for myself, I was your game master and disembodied voice, Ben Hamlin. I also produced this show, with editing assistance by Matty Trumbo-Gomes. Our theme song was by the incorporeal Johnny Rinaldo, and our logo was created by the haunted visage of Terra Bosart. This show is brought to you by Infinity Break, where we're telling stories our own way. You can check out our website and all of our other shows at infinitybreak.net, and I would encourage you to join the haunted chorus of voices at the Infinity Break fan Discord, bit.ly/Infinity Talk. That's capital I Infinity, capital T Talk. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/Infinity Break, where you can start donating to Infinity Break for as little as $1 a month. Finally, if you listen through Apple Podcasts, don't forget to leave a review. Reviews help us rise in the podcasting charts and help more people stumble across our show like a body in the woods. That's all for now. Let ParaScience gaze back at you like a face in the mirror that isn't yours.